squeezing.
No bid thievery here, but
no stoop squeezing.
everybody doesn't want, if you're an at-large bubble team, you don't want Cincinnati to win today.
That's right.
Whatever the pie is, you want
What
to
will
eat that.
Rachel Ray have chosen?
I have no idea.
That'll do it for now. We'll be here all day. We'll see you back here. Halftime. Up next, VCU and St. Bonnie's, the A-10 championship on the line. See you at halftime, everybody. Happy Pie Day.
A New Neighborhood, Monday on CBS, or watch on demand or stream anytime.
If you haven't joined the world's favorite sports book, you need to ask yourself, why am I not a member of the world's favorite sports book? At last count, we had over 45 million members worldwide. Download the app now and see for yourself why Bet365 is the world's #1.
Since there was no basketball tournament last March, Unibet Sportsbook is offering twice its usual bonus this year. Get $40 free and $500 risk-free. And with twice the bonus, you can go twice as hard. Twice the TVs, twice the couches, twice the basketball bets. Get twice the bonus today. Get $40 free and $500 risk-free. Unibet Sportsbook. Crazy about the odds.
Check this. March is back. The March we all deserve. So let's make up for lost time. With more guaranteed takes from the group thread, more 12s over 5s, mascots over logic. Oh, and the best part? Making someone like you a millionaire. Welcome back, March. Place your first bet risk-free. Plus, everyone gets a free shot at $1 million when they bet the tournament on FanDuel. Game's on. FanDuel Sportsbook.
The CBS 2 Sports Team, connecting us all through the love of the game.
I've always been a kid who always wanted to play in March Madness.
I don't think words could describe it.
It's a great feeling, you know.
Y'all been wanting to hang a banner up since we got here. You want to win an A-10 championship?
Nobody can really take that from me.
Virginia Commonwealth, St. Bonaventure, in Dayton. Flying in. Oh, my goodness. How about that? And slams it. Oh, my goodness.
Automatic bid into the NCAA tournament is at stake.
Number 1 and 2 will face off.
A champion will be crowned today. To CBS Sports NCAA Men's Basketball Conference Championship Weekend, presented by Army National Guard. The road to the Final Four runs through Dayton, and today the A-10 Championship. VCU, the 2 seed, taking on St. Bonaventure, the 1 seed in the Atlantic 10. How did we get here? Semifinal, St. Bonaventure with a convincing win over St. Louis, and VCU knocking off Davidson to advance to the Atlantic 10 Championship. Hi, everybody. Ian Eagle along with Jim Spinarkle. At least we believe it's Jim Spinarkle. It is Jim Spinarkle.
Somewhere in here.
And we're ready for March Madness. Today, we've got 2 of the elite defensive teams in the country. Both have had outstanding seasons, Jimmy.
Yeah, and Ian, both of them are very good defensive teams, but they're different in ways. The Bonnies like to play you straight up. They'll deny passes in the passing lane. The other side, VCU, as we all have heard, they have this thing called havoc defense, where they'll try to turn you over. They'll try to double team and get that ball going down the other end of the floor.
And let's not forget about what they can do offensively, including the A-10 Player of the Year from VCU. It's Bones Highland.
And he can score in a lot of different ways. He has the ability to shoot the ball from long range. He'll score going to the basket. You see the 19 points per game, but he'll also trick you a little bit, getting into the middle of the lane and finding a teammate. Very, very good player. Hard guy to stop at the offensive end. And part of that is going to go to Oshunahee, a defensive expert, the A-10 Defensive Player of the Year. Look at those numbers. Just under 3 blocks a game. He's the anchor defensively.
All right, Jimmy, let's check out our fast analysis presented by AT&T.
Yeah, and you look at the defensive end of the floor. You try to pack that in as much as you possibly can. And here you see the way they play it. St. Bonnie's will close the court down. They'll squeeze it as much as they can. What's that do? That allows Lofton to play the passing lane, take it down the other end for a quick, easy bucket. On the other hand, though, when you look at the offensive attack here, watch for Williams stepping into a shooter's area. Vince Williams shoots it at 42% from the three-point line. He loves to be out there. They look for him constantly, and they drive plays in his direction.
One of these two teams will be cutting down the nets today in Dayton, both with excellent NCAA tournament resumes. VCU, St. Bonaventure, next on CBS.
CBS Sports coverage of the Atlantic 10 Championship is sponsored by Sonic. This is how we Sonic. Expedia, connect every detail for every fan and trip. And by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Tastes unbelievably delicious. Closing in on the opening tip here in Dayton, Mike Rhodes in his 4th year as the head coach at VCU. Challenging circumstances for everybody, as we know, but the way that Coach Rhodes has handled it with his young group, they've put together a terrific season at 19-6, 10-4 in the Atlantic 10. We mentioned Highland. Adrian Baldwin Jr. has been outstanding, and Assad Ward is a premier shot blocker as well. St. Bonaventure, look at the common thread, Jimmy. Junior. All 5 juniors for Mark Schmidt. This class has been best in show for Schmidt and this St. Bonaventure squad. Roger Ayers, Bert Smith, Brent Hampton, our officiating crew. This is the 3rd meeting between these two teams. Of course, they split the first 2, so this is the grudge match.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting, Ian, from the design of this defensively, as we touched on already in the open, in terms of who really puts their stamp on the defensive end of the floor and who does it early in this game.
Ball knocked around, and VCU controls the tip.
Now from the defensive style, just watch it straight up man-to-man. There's a good dump down low. Good look.
And the left-handed lane goes for Levi Stockard. He's the transfer from Kansas State.
And that's exactly what Mike Rhodes, coach, said yesterday. We're going to try to attack him, go right at his chest, and make him defend.
St. Bonaventure lost in the A-10 championship game to St. Louis in 2019. A heartbreaker 55-53. Attaway on a kick. Lofton has been so steady.
And that's what he needs to be today, steady against this defensive effort.
Shot clock winding down, jumper short from Jaron Holmes.
Yeah, that's what VCU will try to make you do. They'll try to make you use as much of the shot clock, pester you as much as possible.
Spread the floor here for VCU. Stockard a high screen. Bones Highland averaging 19.4 points per game. Leading scorer in the Atlantic 10. Baldwin, nice swing inside. Ward to the rim.
So twice in a row now we've seen the action going towards the middle of the floor. They generally do not post it up, but their pick and rolls are very good to the basket, and their slice cuts are also.
They handle the pressure, St. Bonaventure, after the made basket. You're going to see a lot of different looks defensively for VCU.
Yeah, and a lot of times they talk about the VCU defense being havoc, full court pressure, but they released that a whole lot and just go back to half court.
Good look for Attaway, and what an addition he has been for this program. Transfer from Miami, Ohio, and I think he has exceeded expectations.
Yeah, in the last game they played against VCU, he had 23, so maybe a matchup concern for VCU today.
Highland defended on the play by Lofton, who picks up the foul.
So we get a little action early on in terms of the high screen action here, and let's watch how he just slides to the basket. What you need to do there is you see 34 in the middle. He's got to be a factor offensively to drag a defender, and here's just that simple pass across. Where's the VCU defense? No factor at all on that shot.
Get it in for Highland. Takes that baseline, and the floater doesn't go.
Yeah, and he didn't make that shot just then, but that's what to look for with Highland. The steps throughs, the herky-jerky type motions. That's why he's so difficult off the bounce to defend.
Aggressive move to the rim on a kick from Welch to Lofton. Off-balance delivery, rims out.
Pretty good shot, though, for Lofton just then. He squared his shoulders, just couldn't get it to go down.
Pushing tempo, Baldwin, fantastic freshman, gives it up.
Here's the challenge.
On the inside, getting the roll. So the tip-in will count. Hassan Ward working the interior off the miss by Stocker.
Yeah, VCU would much rather play this game in tight than shoot the basketball from long range, where they only shoot 33% from the three-point line.
All of their points have come in the paint so far. 3-point lead for VCU.
There's a lot of motion without the basketball here. Designed to spread the floor, keep the lane wide open if they can. There it is.
Nice cut to the rim and a rack attack. Oshunyi.
That's perfect St. Bonnie's basketball there, Ian, in terms of being able to spread the floor. Basically 4 guys away from the basket and get 1 or 2 guys occasionally slip into the basket.
Jimmy, he is massive. He has a 7'8" wingspan.
That works.
Pull-up jump. Baldwin, no. One and done for the Rams.
One of the reasons that he defends so well, and his timing on top of it.
Lofton settles it down. 6'5" VCU.
A lot of high screens. You'll see the pick and rolls from the high screen. Here's both of them. Watch for Attaway to step away.
Attaway, spin, kick. Holmes finds a crack. Tosses it up. Knocked out of there.
Could be a tie up there, or did he get in late? Tie up.
Vince Williams stepping in defensively to get a piece of it. Possession arrow favors St. Bonaventure.
The slice and dive to the basket is all about the timing, and here's the timing, and it's also about rotation defensively. Just then, you didn't see any rotation. Where's everybody? They're looking outside for the shooters, and nobody's defending the middle of the paint. That's a breakdown defensively, and the Bonnies took advantage of it.
First substitution, Stocker to the bench for VCU, and the senior Corey Douglas Jr. checks in, one of the leaders of this Ram squad. Actually played for Mike Rhodes back at Rice, so their history goes back quite a ways. Spin, Lofton had it knocked away by Baldwin, recovers, just beats the shot clock, but it's off the mark. Bones Highland, stop and go.
Look at the step throw.
The Euro comes up short.
It's uncanny how he can avoid charges with that one step, which is a legal move, by the way.
Highland picks up Lofton. Lofton the fend-off. 4 minutes gone by here in the opening half. Oshunyi.
Good little body bump there by Douglas to stop that traffic move.
Oshun, much improved offensive player. Attaway. Wow, that away. A 3.
Nicely done there, Ian. But when you look at guys who can score, who is the wild card for this team, and what did Mark Schmidt tell us? It's that guy right there. If he can have a good game, they usually play pretty well.
His ability to finish around the rim as well. And you could see he's got a good-looking stroke.
Yeah, watch for Douglas with his slips to the basket.
Baldwin. That's a crafty play. Baldwin going against the grain as a lefty.
So let's see this VCU defense right now. See how it's just one-on-one. What they're doing right now, Ian, is they design this so you come up the floor and don't get into your basic shots and first pass until about 17 or 18 on the shot clock. Now they try to defend.
Attaway with a purpose. And it's rebounded by Highland.
So they kind of lull you in the backcourt to take 8 seconds to bring it up to the attack zone.
Ward sets the screen. Bones Highland. There's the tight defense from Welch.
Got away with the reach.
Offensive foul. Bones going to the bucket. And it's going the other way.
Yeah, the pressure up front is designed to get you to really play strong defense and also get you out of control. That was in the restricted area. I don't know about that call, but here's that little flare jumper, which he can knock back in a hurry. You want me to comment first?
Brackets are finally back, and you can get in the madness today by playing CBS Sports bracket games. Start a pool, compete against your friends, fill out a bracket for your chance to win a trip to the 2022 Final Four. Don't wait. Get the CBS Sports app now and get in the action. Jimmy, this is what you were alluding to as we were going to break. We're going to bring in Gene Steratore, our rules analyst. What'd you see on this play, Gene?
You know, when Asuni steps in, he's a secondary defender. When that secondary defender is grounded in the restricted arc area, he must leave his feet and get vertical to wall up in order to stay legal. If he remains grounded, any contact with him outside of a forearm to his chest or something is an automatic blocking call. You need help from a couple officials in that situation. One looking at the contact and the other helping with the position of the feet.
Yeah, I agree with you, Gene, on that one because it's such a bang-bang type of play. But you're right, those feet have to be, if he's staying on the ground, they have to both be out and not above the restricted line.
Call benefited St. Bonaventure. They take over on the offensive foul. Work it inside. Oshunyi in traffic. Missed it. Welch! Terrific instinct. Darting to the rim. And a chance at a three-point play.
So if you have a post-up opportunity on the blocks, you need a double team. And here comes the double team. And what allows that happen is that you can run the floor in great anticipation and understanding by Welch in terms of where that ball was going to come off. A lot of times offensive rebounding, not only is it position and moving your feet, but seeing where the ball and the angle is going to occur. He went from the left side to the right to finish that off. That's a terrific offensive move.
And why was that previous call so important and pivotal? Well, that second foul was just on Highland after picking up the offensive. Change here for VCU. Jameer Watkins is in. Williams on a ball fake.
That's way off.
Yep. A brick from the outside, but look who's there. Corey Douglas Jr. for the follow.
Well, people will say, why don't you block out? Block out. And you can't really block out on a bad shot like that just barely hits the backboard and comes off. It throws the timing off, and it gives the offensive rebounder a big advantage.
Rejected on the inside. Vince Williams with a big old block. We are tied at 10. Highland, you have to get it going. Here's Bones. Killer crossover. And the floater doesn't go. Rebound knocked around. Controlled by Attaway.
There's an running opportunity if they hurry. Nice pass.
Welch fills the lane and fills the bucket.
How about Baldwin with that quick touch release pass, too? Not very often that they run up and down. They're selective at the offensive end with their transition, but a beauty of a pass just then in terms of the touch pass.
Kyle Lofton with the assist and a turnover on the offensive foul. Baldwin.
Well, here they come down the floor. Watch the left side as you come down. Go towards the middle and then finish it off. Beautifully done in terms of transition. And just drag those players away from the middle of the floor.
Breather now for Bones Highland with those two fouls. And Highland is yet to score. 12-10 lead for the Bonnies. Attaway. Spin. Comes up short. A factor there defensively, Corey Douglas.
Sure was. He read that turn and spin very well.
Two-man game, Williams and Douglas. Quick cut, blocked by Oshunyi. It's going to count, goaltending.
Yeah, and that's where you have to really understand the scouting report just then. Williams is a lefty, and so you want to jump his left side, but that's good help by the big guy coming from behind and just trying to time it, just misses it by a second. Pretty good pace to this game so far.
Oshunyi.
See, they're spacing the floor so much right now. They're not really allowing VCU to double team them, Iron, which is keeping the floor spaced. Oh, watch that pass.
Yeah, he tossed it to no man's land. Turnover, but they give it right back. Vasquez, he loses it. Ball getting knocked around like a pinball, and a foul is called as bodies fly.
Yeah, I think they got Welch with the hand on the back. So it's up for grabs. And watch all the play right now. Everybody going in, and watch at the end right there. A little bit of a push. Number one on number one. Welch gets called for it.
So we are tied at 12. They're listing Highland with 3 personal fouls.
Yeah, I think he was the one on the right side in front of the Bonnie's bench over there. That last offensive foul was called on him.
Wow, looked like it was called on Adrian Baldwin, but it was Highland for setting a screen, trying to create some space for Baldwin. And now at the 12:09 mark,
huge.
I'm not sure when we're going to see him again.
Yeah, I don't think you play him this half.
Swing it. Williams lines it up. Rims out. And rebound controlled by Oshunagi.
Yeah, and the last time these two teams played, St. Bonnie's got in trouble foul-wise in the first 4 minutes with two of their guys picking up 2 fouls. That's what VCU is trying to do in time, trying to get it down low to pick up some fouls because they don't have much depth.
Alejandro Vasquez, the sophomore from Queens, is in. Lofton, nice cross.
Beautiful ball movement.
Vasquez, that's a 3.
That's just the way the Bonnies like to play. Drag it to one side of the floor, and remember, there's a weak side. Set it up and make sure that ball keeps hopping around the perimeter.
Watkins can't answer. Vasquez gives it up.
I think VCU might be a little rattled at the offensive end, knowing that their star scorer, who scores 19 points a game in Highland, is going to sit for a while. They got to come together at the offensive end.
Oshunagi, the bounce. Attaway can fly. Skywalker, Jalen Attaway on a setup by Oshunagi.
You just can't give him one good step along the baseline. He elevates and attacks. And the Bonnies looking very good, not rattled at all by this limited Havoc defense so far by VCU.
Oshunagi, do not go in there.
Oh, what timing. There's one thing about blocking a shot up high as the officials get in there. Let's calm him down a little bit. Maybe a little bit too theatrical on his part. But with that said, the defense is really stepping it up. Watch the separation. Welsh helps him because he slows the driver down. And let's keep the ball hopping. Where is everybody? Beautiful shot. Nice half-court set as the Bonnies go up 5.
Tonight, it's music's biggest night. Trevor Noah hosts the 63rd Annual Grammy Awards tonight, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on CBS. Jimmy, you know that Dua Lipa is not a backup point guard on San Diego State, right?
Oh.
I know you're in the March Madness mode.
I thought it was April for a second there.
All right, let's go back. That third foul on Bones Highland. This was the action.
Yeah, and I get the play, right? It's an exchange where you come down and you try to exchange and your teammate's going to take the ball. But Holmes just gets run over, so you can't allow Highland to just run him out of his defensive position and knock him down. So I think that was a good call. Unfortunately for him, it's his third.
And for VCU in general, they feed off his offense. Making baskets also helps spring their defense and trigger it.
Yeah, and so, you need Baldwin to step up. You need Watkins maybe to get some action going also, to be aggressive going to the basket. Because the bigs really need it set up for them and slicing and cutting to the basket.
Mike Rhodes, Mark Schmidt came together to chat with the official. They seem to be square here at the 10:37 mark of this first half. Atlantic 10 championship in Dayton, Ohio. 2-hour drive from Indianapolis.
They like that little setup to get Williams involved on the out-of-bounds plays, but pretty well defended.
Josh Banks is in for VCU. Nice blow by.
Oh, man.
And that's going to count for Watkins. Looked like Oshunagi had gotten over there. At least he thought so.
Look at the look. He's kind of wondering on this one. Let's see if this is going up or not. Oh, boy. That's very, very close, but it may have reached its peak and started to come down a little bit. But he's long. He goes after it. And you know what I really love, Ian, is the way he separates his body from the shooter.
He's gained about 30 pounds since getting to St. Bonaventure. He's filled out, so bouncy. Also grew 8 inches in high school, so this is someone that was a bit of a late bloomer. 17-14 St. Bonaventure will hit the midway point of this first half.
Nice backdoor cut, opens it up a little bit.
Vasquez double team, taken away by Stockard. Up ahead, Banks accelerates for 2. The freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina, is on the board.
Yeah, last 4 games he's been doing okay. He hasn't been getting a whole lot of time, but when he does, he's been doing well. 21 points in the last 4. But he's got to be active just like that. Nice.
Attaway needs some help.
Yeah, you just can't stand there and look at your guy get double teamed. You have to go after it and help him. Good cut.
Welch. Kick. Lofton lines it up. Book it. A 3.
as good as any team in terms of using both sides of the floor, and they know exactly where their teammates are supposed to be. They usually are in the right spots, and it's an easier delivery when they execute that way.
St. Bonaventure 4 of 5 from three-point territory. Ward gets a touch. Ball movement leads to Baldwin from the corner. Count it. And it is Banks getting an opportunity. Nails the corner three. That's the first three-pointer of the day for VCU.
And they look to react fairly well with Highland on the bench, too, in the last few possessions, triggered by Banks.
Jalen Attaway plays a small ball 4 spot and forces his way in on Ward, draws the foul.
Yeah, if Ward doesn't swing that left hand on that drive just then, I don't think he's going to get that call, because he's a little bit off balance going to the basket, and here's that kick out and nice look up the floor too. And Banks getting an easy one to start his day, and then the three-pointer from the corner.
Yeah, so you wonder where's the offense going to come from with Highland on the bench, and boom, Josh Banks provides a bucket and a tray. Substitution here as Jaron Holmes is in, replacing Vasquez. Bones Highland. Real name is Nashawn, but he told us right around the age of 7 or 8 he was playing in the schoolyard locally in Delaware, and he was so skinny that the other kids started calling him Bones, and he liked the nickname. We asked him, did you like it? He said, oh, I loved it.
Yeah, his reaction was like, he didn't fake that he liked it. He really gave us the impression that he liked it.
Initially it was Busy Bones, and then it got shortened to Bones. Floater is short from Baldwin.
Similar to the nicknames you have for me.
We unfortunately can't share them on national TV. 22-19, St. Bonaventure in front.
Extending a little bit. You see them trying to come out on the perimeter to defend VCU.
Bonnie's got off to a slow start. They picked it up offensively. Lofton, the J, bottom. That's a three, and a chef's kiss from Kyle Lofton.
And not a bad screen by Oshuniyi.
Lofton only shoots it at 21% from three-point territory. Those numbers don't really tell the story. He's a better shooter than that. Off balance? No, for Ward. Lofton ahead.
Well, careful on that one. Yeah, you're not getting that with VCU. They get a lucky break just then to get it back.
Jaron Holmes scooped it up. VCU couldn't take advantage.
Yeah, two things there. You leave your feet. That's the #1 problem. And then if you get deflected, it's a floater across the lane. You and I might be able to take that one down to the other end.
St. Bonaventure, 5 of 6 from three-point territory. Attaway, step back J, off the mark. Look at the effort level. But it's out of bounds as Welch tried to maintain his position and couldn't. Kyle Lofton, couple of threes for the rock-solid junior. Game summary, St. Bonaventure leading at 25-19 over VCU, Atlantic 10 championship here in Dayton. Bonnie's hot from the outside, 5 of 6 from three-point territory. VCU has done its work in the paint, and we know what Oshuniyi brings on both ends of the floor, Jim.
Yeah, if you can get a couple of shots to the basket where he averages 10 points a game, but defensively he looks for it, he separates, his timing is very good. His theatrics not bad either.
Oshuniyi, the Atlantic 10 Defensive Player of the Year. Numbers have gotten better each year. Blocking just under 3 shots per game.
Last 3 games, 17 total blocks. And, you know, having a couple of goaltendings, you don't want goaltending calls to go against, but what it does do for the offensive guys, it keeps you thinking about him down deep.
Pump fake, Stockard. And again, it's Oshuniyi holding his ground, although his gait affected just a little bit.
Yeah.
A little grimace.
Yep, a little body action there with Stockard. Watch the spacing of the floor. That's why they've been shooting the ball well from the three-point stripe. And Baldwin against with a little bump.
Kyle Lofton drawing the foul on Adrian Baldwin. Team foul number 5 against VCU.
Yeah, it is one of the things about VCU with the style that they play. They do foul a lot.
St. Bonaventure spreading the ball around and sharing it. 8 assists, 9 made field goals, trying to extend the lead. Jumper doesn't go for Welch.
Boy, that's a nice exchange out front with the delayed screen to get that open jumper.
Get into it early. Williams is not shy. Off the heel from three-point territory. Get into it quickly here. Holmes hands to Lofton.
They're not afraid to use the whole shot clock if they have to.
Swing it. Vasquez off the double. Welch probing. Missed it on the teardrop. And a foul called. It's going to stay right here. Oshunagi, who is also a big-time rebounder. He averages over 9 rebounds per game for St. Bonaventure. 6th team foul against VCU.
Yeah, watch Stockard, though. Stockard gives him a pretty good shot. Number 34, getting into the play and right there across the arms, part of the head. 66% from the line.
From Pleasantville, New Jersey. Did a prep year at Putnam Science Academy along with Kyle Lofton, so they already had some chemistry coming out of their prep school year. Originally, Oshunagi had signed with LaSalle.
Doesn't look like a 66% free throw shooter to me. Much too good of rotation, form, extension. Everything looks good. Just confidence, I guess.
And Mark Schmidt called him the MVP of their team.
Yeah.
27-19, largest lead for St. Bonaventure. Williams feeds the post. Stockard. 2 defenders in the area. Stockard pivots and scores.
Yeah, he was looking for shooting down deep eye and looking for him to block a shot. Very, very patient and using that strength down low at 6'8", 245 to bounce the defender away just a little bit.
St. Bonaventure has been projected as an 11 seed in the NCAAs by our own Jerry Palm. So we'll see how it all plays out later on. One of the best sports days of the year.
Yeah, it's
the selection show.
Oh, what a big-time screen.
Oshunagi knocked down Williams. Ball movement. Jumper doesn't go for Holmes. And an offensive rebound. Reload. Holmes leans in. He was looking for a call. And a foul is called eventually here on this end. It's going to stay here.
Yeah, I think it's Stockard again. Pushing Oshunagi out again, and watch this screen. Now he's not moving. If he puts that left leg out a little bit, then you could possibly call it for an extension in terms of the screen. But the leg was fairly squared up. You need to keep those knees and legs about the squareness of your shoulders, Ian, so you don't step into the defender. Good call, but good non-call by the officials.
Second foul on Stockard. They make a change. And Brendan Medley-Bacon, the junior transfer from Coppin State, 7'1", 240 pounds, is in for the first time. Williams swings it inside. Medley-Bacon, short. And rebounded by Oshunagi. I just immediately feel like I want some kind of breakfast.
Get the eggs on.
Lofton can't hit it.
Nice pass.
Williams up ahead. Banks is fouled. 2 free throws coming up for Josh Banks. Coming up next, College Basketball Championship Sunday rolls on. Ohio State meets Illinois, the Big Ten Final. Jim Nance, Bill Raftery, Grant Hill, Tracy Rolson, they've got you covered. Then at 6 o'clock, it's time to find out who's in, who's out. NCAA Basketball Championship Selection Show, the road to the Final Four, right here on CBS. Automatic bids right now in the second half. Colgate on top of Loyola, Maryland. That would mean an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. We know what's at stake here, although we both feel pretty strongly that both teams are going to be in the field no matter what happens.
Yeah, and you look at that screen, too, there with Alabama's had a terrific year. They seem to be playing better and better as the month of February kind of evaporated into March. They were picking up steam against an LSU team that can score.
First free throws of the day for the Rams. 1 out of 2 for Josh Banks, who gave Mike Rhodes quality minutes in this first half. And all of a sudden, St. Bonaventure has gone ice cold on offense. Holmes has had his problems. 0 of 5. 1 of 6. Jaron Holmes gets to the cup.
And a beautiful adjustment. When you come through the lane there and you're looking to get a shot off, you have to stop on a dime, go up, and square your shoulders so that controls you and you don't float and get out of control. They got to start driving it a little bit, too.
Williams, short. He thought he was hit down low.
Yeah, I thought so, too, maybe. But he forced that shot. Wow, look at this.
That is really deep.
And really short.
So Holmes made the one basket and maybe thought, all right, my confidence is back.
Let it rip.
That's a little too deep. Jaron Holmes and the St. Bonaventure Bonnies in front by 7. First half action. Tomorrow on CBS, Simone Missick is Judge Lola Carmichael, changing the justice system one case at a time. The CBS original series, All Rise. New episode tomorrow at 9, 8 Central on CBS. Time right now for the next Greatest Generation is Now, presented by Army National Guard Corey Douglas. He's been on an accelerated path to success. He got his bachelor's degree in Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness last year. He's pursuing his master's degree in Sport Leadership, has a 3.5 cumulative grade point average. He started his collegiate career at Rice under Mike Rhodes, reunited with his coach at VCU after a year at Tallahassee Community College down in Florida. Gives this team energy, defensive-minded, also known as the cook. He's the best chef on the team. Makes French toast and chicken parmesan, 2 of your favorites, Jimmy.
Together?
No. That would be an interesting. I'm not sure you would be nicknamed the chef at that point.
I'd have another nickname.
Lob it up. Catches made.
Oh, double.
Denial by Oshunyi as he just cured Medley Bacon.
Very nice, but when Medley Bacon kind of fell off the play a little bit, it gave him time defensively to come after him.
Here's Welch. Oshunyi sets the screen. Attaway, tough one-on-one player. Circles. Cut by Lofton. Whoa. Oh, he went into a Malachi crunch. Out of bounds. VCU takes over.
So you look at the timing. Does he catch it or stumble? See that little bit of a hesitation underneath the basket, gives you time to go after it. And here comes the squeeze. Oh, everybody helping out.
5 rebounds for Oshunyi. He's been credited with 2 blocks. It feels like he's had more. Watkins turns the corner. Bank shot, no. Rebounded by Oshunyi.
Yeah, drifting a little bit on that play. Watkins is not going to convert that if your shoulders are going towards the baseline to the left side. He's got to turn him and attack. And if not, he's going to get that shot blocked.
Welch for Holmes. Attaway. Baseline delivery doesn't go. Rebound snatched and then given up. Holmes couldn't secure it.
Yeah, pretty good help by Ward there on the defensive glass, too.
Baldwin pushing tempo.
Balance is good defensively, though, by the Bonnies.
Baldwin, it was on line, but a little too strong from the lefty freshman.
Yeah, one of the reasons the Bonnies get back on defense well, Ryan, is because they space the floor and they really understand offensively where the shots are going to come from. That allows a couple of the guards to drift towards half court when necessary to balance the defense.
VCU is down to 36% shooting. Although St. Bonaventure has gone through a struggle here offensively, the Rams have not taken advantage.
And remember, with Highland on the bench for a long time.
Holmes tosses it up, grazes the rim, tries to follow, and draws the foul. So a bailout as St. Bonaventure was running out of time on the shot clock. And it's going to turn into 2 free throws for the junior Jaron Holmes. Coming up, AT&T at the half. Greg, Clark, and Seth will update you on who's in the tournament, preview the Big Ten championship game, Ohio State and Illinois. They're going to have a rather busy month coming up. AT&T at the half.
Yes, they will.
St. Bonaventure, 5 offensive rebounds, just 2 for VCU. This is the third meeting between these two teams. St. Bonaventure won the first 70-54. VCU, the wheels fell off in the second half in that one, 45-14 Bonnie. Second meeting, VCU took it 67-64. I don't know if the score indicates, though, how well VCU played, and they pretty much won that game from start to finish.
They did, and I think you have to look at with Highland on the bench right now, down 8 points. If they can keep this at around maybe 6, I think that's a win for them without the 19 points a game that he gets and been sitting on the bench a long time.
Watkins off on a 3. Nakel Brown-Jones is in for VCU, the freshman from Philadelphia.
Yeah, I know the Bonnies have their shot blocker, rim protector there, but I think at the beginning of this game, VCU was challenging it pretty well. Now all of a sudden they've shied away from that.
They can bring the lead to double figures. It's Holmes short on a 3. He's really struggled with that jump shot today. Williams dribbling through traffic, takes it all the way. Missed it. Rebound out of bounds. Last touch by Douglas. Now we got a timeout with 54 seconds left. Bones Highland, that is just a helpless feeling when you know your team needs you and you can't do anything about it.
Here we go. Big fella jamming in there. Oh my goodness. Can you believe this? Anything can happen in March.
Yes, Jimmy, it is here. Later today, selection show on CBS. Thursday is the first 4, so adjust your calendars, True TV and TBS. Then 4 networks. We've got you covered right through to the Final 4, which will be here on CBS.
Great to have it back. There's an illegal handoff.
And an offensive foul is called on Lofton. So turnover for St. Bonaventure. VCU has 40.7 on the clock, trailing by 8.
Just as if you were setting a screen on a defender, Ian, even though you have the ball, you can't be moving. You notice the way he moves in. He turns his right shoulder into the defender. Good call from the officials. You got to plant yourself.
So that's 2 on Lofton. He sits for the final seconds of the opening half. Douglas on a handoff for Vince Williams. He's been quiet. Williams, step back Jay, got a 3.
That was smooth, wasn't it? Holmes was right in his face, and usually you jump at a right-hand the shooter there, but Williams being lefty, Holmes was right on it. Nice stroke from the guy who shoots it at 42% on the year.
And VCU has cut it to 5. Final possession here for St. Bonaventure. Holmes makes his move, adjusts his shot, and delivers in the paint. And time will run out at the end of this first half. St. Bonaventure with a 32-25 lead over VCU.
Nice reaction by Holmes also. Coming off that screen, he gets his shoulders inside. You see Williams from behind. And nice little loft to that shot in the middle of the lane there.
End of the first half. The Bonnies on top of the Rams by 7 in the Atlantic 10 championship game here in Dayton. Right now, let's send it to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Ian, thank you. Coming up on AT&T at the half, there are 5 automatic bids up for grabs today. We'll get you all caught up on the madness after this word from your local station.
CBS Sports presents AT&T at the half. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
And welcome to AT&T at the half, everyone. Alongside Clark and Seth, I'm Greg. The score in Dayton. St. Bonaventure leading VCU by a score of 32-25.
Yeah, the shooting percentage not great for the Bonnies, but what I want to show you is the balance. 5 guys average double digits. They made 11 baskets, 6 inside the three-point line, 5 outside of the three-point line. They've also made 5 free throws, but they're able to do this because they space the floor. They've got multiple shot makers, ball handlers, and playmakers playing around one guy who scores in the paint. That opens up lanes for drives, for back cuts, and they take full advantage of it. Everybody involved and engaged. The balance and the defensive consistency of this team, I think, leads them to a victory here, but also gives them staying power in the tournament.
They sound like a coach's dream.
They are. I mean, they share it, and everybody can do a little bit of everything. That's a lot of fun. That's a fun way to play.
Yeah, unless you're playing against it.
Yeah, right.
In which case, VCU, and in particular, Bone Highland's the leading scorer in the Atlantic 10. He had 30 points in their quarterfinal win over Dayton, put up a big old bagel here in the first half. And you don't guard a guy like Bones Highland with just one defender. You got to crowd him. You got to get in his space. You got to have help. And, of course, when you have a quality rim protector like Oceanie to distract him, that is good. So he's got 0.0 for 3 shooting. More troublesome is the fact that he's got 3 fouls. So only played 7 minutes, 1 more foul, and he's basically toast as a defender. So VCU's up against it right now.
Once again, it's 32-25 Bonnies at halftime. Okay, VCU and St. Bonnie's about to come out for the second half. What do they do?
Well, for VCU, obviously, when you want to win a championship, it's rare that you can do it without your best players playing well. And Bones Highland, with the foul trouble, has really been hemmed in by that St. Bonaventure defense. I think the Bonnies do what they've been doing, just do it a little better. They've gotten quality shots, and they've been able to balance their attack offensively. Defensively, I think they continue to make it tough for the VCU Rams to get going.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit scared off by Oceanie protecting the rim. VCU only has 2 free throws in the entire first half. So that's a problem with Bones Highland. You want to get him going, and you want to tell him attack, but he's got 3 fouls. If he picks up
to do it from the perimeter. If he's going to get going, he's got to do it from the perimeter first. I think he's got to play outside in against that defense.
If you're the Bonnies, you just feed it to Bob Lanier down low. End of conversation.
Well, you went way back on that one.
That'll do it for now. Coming up next, second half of the A-10 championship game. VCU and St. Bonnie's.
Thank you for watching AT&T at the Half.
CBS Sports coverage of the Atlantic 10 Championship is sponsored by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA. Progressive, save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. And by AT&T 5G, fast, reliable, secure. Welcome back, CBS Sports NCAA Men's Basketball Conference Championship Weekend, presented by Army National Guard here at the University of Dayton. State Farm halftime first stats, and VCU and St. Bonaventure. Not surprising, Jim, that this has been a defensive showdown. Neither team shooting it all that well, but the turnover numbers are very low. Ian Eagle along with Jim Spinarco getting ready for March Madness. Conference tournament's a part of the madness. Winner here gets an automatic bid. Bones Highland, A-10 Player of the Year. 3 fouls in that first half. Did VCU weather the storm, in your opinion?
I think partially they did, and I think the other carryover is down in the second half. He's got to be worried about the first 3 or 4 minutes to make sure he doesn't pick up a quick one. The other thing I'd point out to your mentioning the turnovers, Ian, in the first 2 games that these teams played, VCU turned St. Bonnie's over 15 times per game, and they're not doing that now.
Meanwhile, for St. Bonaventure, the play of Flight 33, Jalen Attaway, doing a little bit of everything.
Well, it's part of the whole balance that the Bonnies throw at you. He's leading it with 10 points, but all their starters have scored, mixing it up. And, boy, when he gets a baseline opportunity, he takes advantage of it.
Jalen Attaway, part of this junior class. Every starter is a junior. No seniors on the roster. They finished in 5th place last season at 19-12, 11-7 in the conference, winning the outright A-10 championship in the regular season this year. Vince Williams gives it up, and a travel on Hassan Ward. St. Bonaventure, they lean on their starting 5 consistently. These guys do the majority of the work. Lofton averaging 38 minutes, then 34, 34, 33, 33. They account for 88% of the team scoring.
And what did Mark Schmidt say about that? Hey, they're young guys. They can play. They don't get tired. They have consistency, though.
Oshunyi blocked from behind, and it's going to go the other way. Leaning in. An offensive foul.
Yeah, I like the thought, getting something going to the basket. Let's see, though. Defender's there. Looks like he's outside the restricted area from a spacing standpoint. Yeah, way outside. You just can't run over him.
So Vince Williams Jr. takes the hit. And now let's keep an eye on Bones Highland. See if VCU can get him involved here offensively.
Yeah, Welch has him defensively. It's his job to make sure he doesn't get untriggered. Nice hands, nice deflection.
Highland had it blocked from the outside by Welch.
Good reaction, staying away from the shooter, but getting a hand out there.
Lofton, the roll to the rim. Big finish, Oshunyi. This is the largest lead of the day for St. Bonaventure. 34-25, Bonnies.
And that's going to be a trip on, might be on Ward, actually.
Lofton goes down.
Yeah, it might have been Ward tripping him as he went over the screen.
So we're going to get a change here as Douglas checks in. And it is Ward, his third.
And watch the exchange there when Ward accidentally puts his foot out and trips Lofton.
Kyle Lofton from Hillside, New Jersey. He was a star at Union Catholic. And immediately was a difference maker for St. Bonaventure the moment he stepped on the floor as a member of the Bonnies. Attaway.
Nice look.
And Welch lost it underneath. Shot clock is winding down. Lofton's going to have to make it happen. Give it up. Holmes hangs, but misses from the side.
Yeah, nice drift there defensively, too, by Douglas. Watch for him with a little bit slip down low, maybe get him the ball in the blocks. They have got to get something going to the basket. Good hands and going the other way.
Lofton takes the cookies and lays it in.
Yeah, that was Highland in the middle of the floor, too. Just laying that ball about waist high, which is an easier way for a defender to come in and strip. And Lofton just timing it perfectly. There he goes, catches it there, and forget about this one.
The Atlantic 10 Championship on CBS is presented by Army National Guard. The next greatest generation is now. St. Bonaventure has taken an 11-point lead on VCU in the Atlantic 10 Championship. Time for us to check out our fast analysis presented by AT&T 5G.
So they got it started, the Bonnies did in the first half when they were real comfortable spacing the floor. They now have 9 assists on 13 buckets, but there's the ball moving. A little bit of a dribble, then you don't need a dribble. So sometimes you dribble to get the defensive squad moving and shaking themselves into the middle of the floor. Good time to use both sides of the floor.
And on the flip side, Jimmy, VCU had just 2 turnovers in the first half. They had 3 in the first 2 minutes of the second half.
You know, a lot of times we talk about VCU and their defense, but, you know, keep in mind that the Bonnies hold you to 60 points per game, 6th fewest in the NCAA.
Bones had it blocked and a foul called.
Now the question becomes with Highland, does he try to get things going and force the action? I believe he has to, because obviously he didn't play much in the first half with the 3 fouls. You got to force the action, get in there and make something happen. He gets a little body bump and gets to the line.
Back from a foot injury. He's the first Ram to win a Conference Player of the Year award since Eric Maynard did it back in 2008 and 2009. Bones Highland, 19.4 points per game. That his first point of the afternoon.
And I think what you're going to see here strategy-wise is a little difference in terms of the defense now. Let's see if the havoc starts. First half, it was pretty controlled in terms of how the Bonnies handled any kind of pressure. Now all of a sudden, look what's happening. They're making an adjustment on the fly, and they're going to try to pick up. But the key thing is to make sure the Bonnies vacate.
Right down the middle, swatted out of there by Douglas. Holmes couldn't get a clean shot off.
But exactly what they want you to do. They want you to take the shot quickly, get this game moving a little bit up and down. Now they have to convert at the offensive end to try to get back in it.
Highland gives it up.
This set you really need from a confidence standpoint. You need to get a good shot.
Baldwin off the penetration. Highland puts it on the deck.
Wow.
Knocked out of there by Holmes.
They are closing on him, and they know it.
Welch swing. 3 minutes gone by in the second half. The steady hand of Kyle Lofton.
Just one turnover so far.
5 assists for Lofton. Lofton to the hoop, partially blocked, out of bounds. Good defensive stand there from Corey Douglas Jr., who rotated over to help.
Yeah, that was what Gene was talking about in the first half. The ability to go straight up as a wall. You can go up just as long as your hands aren't swinging down with 5 on the shot clock.
Bonnies get it in, line it up. Welch too strong on a 3.
Wow. Threw it off Highland's back just then.
Williams fortunate. It ricocheted back to him. Works inside. Slam down on the follow. Corey Douglas Jr.
Yeah, no rotation at all defensively, and I like the fact that Williams is challenging somebody off the bounce.
VCU trying to chip away. On the other end, Douglas has 3 blocks for the Rams. Lofton gives it up. Holmes, contact. They wanted to travel on Holmes, not going to get it. And a foul called in the paint.
If you drive the ball to the basket hard and aggressively right here, defensively, the shot blocker vacates the middle of the floor. Just nobody back there to help for the Bonnies. And Douglas has a relatively easy finish.
Personal foul on Vince Williams Jr. That's his first. Trigger in for Oshunagi.
Nice cut.
Good look inside. It somehow rims out for Attaway. Right down the middle. Bones to the basket.
Yeah.
And a foul called. It's a blocking foul.
Yeah, this is
pivotal.
Yeah, this is going to be the restricted area right now is going to come into play, Ian. And once again, as Gene Steratore talked about in the beginning of this game, do you get outside the restricted area? He's backpedaling. There's no way he's out of there.
That is number 2 on Oshunagi. 36-29. Bonnies. Friday noon on CBS. It is a time for the madness. 64 teams begin their quest to cut down the nets in April. First round of the NCAA basketball tournament begins, and the road to the Final Four is right here on CBS. Hartford going to the big dance, first time in school history. Rick Pitino, the 3rd coach all time to lead 5 different schools to the NCAA tournament. He's taking the Iona Gales to the field. And Georgetown, what a moment for Patrick Ewing and the Hoyas winning the Big East Championship at Madison Square Garden. You know, people have been in their homes for about a year, so they get to go to a game.
I was watching this during the break.
A little music is played, and everybody's just joining in. I actually saw Jimmy shake his hips at one point. You can't help it.
Can we get an ISO camera over here?
Yeah, that would be official madness, actually.
True madness.
Free throws here for Bones Highland.
One thing he does very well also, 19 points per game, but 86 from the free throw line. And maybe that old concept of seeing the ball go through the hoop twice for him, maybe it untriggers him, but he was very close. That was a key call that went against the Bonnies and not him. That would have been his 4th foul.
They handle the pressure into the hands of Lofton.
Yeah, because of the spacing, we've not seen VCU double team on the wings that often.
Holmes, drive, kick.
Stepped out of bounds.
Welch.
Yep, he stepped on the line, out of bounds.
Turnover. St. Bonaventure had a pretty good set.
They sure did. They got the shot they wanted too out of that.
So St. Bonaventure's lead is down to 5. Just about 5 minutes gone by in the second half. Baldwin, handoff for Highland.
Yeah, now the trick is for Highland not to go too crazy. Plenty of time left in this game.
Baldwin makes his move. Ducks inside. Can't finish. Rebound controlled by Oshunagi.
Yeah, and a little bit of help just then, too, by Holmes to allow them to get that ball.
Get into it with Holmes. Kick. Lofton sets the feet. Connects for 3.
Only a 21% shooter from the three-point line, but they dragged it to him in terms of just really slowing the play down to allow him to position himself for a catch and shoot.
And the lead is 8 for the Bonnies.
Will Williams get involved a little at the offensive end also?
Watkins. Boy, he's got
major potential for this VCU squad. Only a freshman from Trenton, New Jersey.
Yeah, and he's had double digits in 4 of the last 6 games, so they've been using him pretty well off the bench, and he's been playing nicely.
And he fits well with their defensive philosophy as well, because you can switch with him at 6'7". Attaway gets rid of it. The back in.
Short.
Welch.
Yep, pulled the trigger. Watch him in the open floor now.
Bones.
Wow.
Take it away.
A 2-on-1 if they hurry.
Dom Welch lays it in. Defense to offense for the Bonnies.
Boy, we've seen Highland get in trouble about 3 times in terms of being able to turn the basketball over on plays like that. That was turnover number 5 on him. They are really collapsing the floor when he tries to put it down and make a move.
And it's 41-33 St. Bonaventure. Highland gives it up.
They're just suffocating this defense.
VCU has 5 shots in the second half. They have 5 turnovers.
Wow, another good hands out front.
Nearly had a 6th. Baldwin tosses it up off the front of the rim and controlled by Oshunayi.
Looks like a little havoc at the other end of the floor, doesn't it? The Bonnies throwing their version of it at them.
9 rebounds for Oshunayi. Contact. Foul called. No shots, though, for Kyle Lofton.
So here's the action in the middle of the floor. Welch comes back and makes the steal and goes the other way with it. And obviously you have to let him go if you have three fouls coming behind him, too, not to go near him. Same thing with Watkins. He runs right by the play.
So St. Bonaventure with an opportunity to bring this lead to double digits once again. A rest for Corey Douglas Jr.
Watch that flare cut.
Lofton, they vacate the area, but couldn't take advantage. Short on the J.
The attention to detail when Highland has the ball. They know they do not want him to get 2 or 3 quick buckets that'll change the whole tempo of this game. He's looking for a little bit of isolation action right now.
Bones Highland from Wilmington, Delaware. Foul out front. And it's going to be Welch picking up the personal, and some words exchanged with Vince Williams Jr. So St. Bonaventure, look at the net ranking. They're 28. VCU is 35. St. Louis is the team right now that's concerned.
Yeah, and St. Louis got decimated by COVID with the pauses. I think there were a couple of pauses earlier in the year, and they didn't play real well. And that's a little bit of a takedown by Welch. And these guys, remember, not only is this a championship game, but this is the 3rd time they've met. So as both coaches said, we know one another very, very well. Maybe they know each other too well.
VCU has won 3 of the last 4 against St. Bonaventure. First ever outright Atlantic 10 regular season crown for the Bonnies. They won the A-10 tournament in 2012. They beat Xavier in the championship game.
Here's the isolation on the right side for Highland.
Vasquez has checked back in. Highland, foul called. Oshunayi reacts.
Yeah, and the fans who are here for the Bonnies react. He blocks it cleanly up high. Look at what happens down low. Highland trying to force the action. Does he get into his gut right here? Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one, because the offensive player, great reaction by Mark Schmidt on the sidelines. I'm not sure about that one, because he drove his body into the defender who was standing straight up.
So 3 fouls now on Oshunayi.
I think you give him a break right now. They're not really deep.
They've only played 6 here, Jimmy. Vasquez is the only player off the bench to see any action today.
And he's out there already. The reason I say to get him out, it was kind of a half of an emotional play just then, Ian. And he's terrific defensively. There's no question about it. But you don't want his emotions to get involved right now. Maybe an over-the-top offensive rebounding foul, or move his feet or swing his arms to make up for that particular play.
1 out of 2, a miss.
That could be a tie-up. Yep.
It is. Possession arrow goes to St. Bonaventure. I think Mark Schmidt unhappy with the fact that his team didn't secure that rebound off the miss.
And Banks got his hands in there pretty quickly, too. Here comes some full court action. Let's see what they do. They're looking for traps, and this is smart. You see how they vacate the back of the area? You give the ball to Lofton, and you say, hey, if you can't bring the ball up across one-on-one, then you don't belong in this league, but he does pretty well.
Pulls it up. Kyle Lofton, ball on a string as he strokes it for two. Way off. Wow. Bones Highland is searching right now. And another tie-up, unless they're going to get a foul called on the inside, and they may with Baldwin.
Yeah, I like the way Mark Schmidt is not allowing them to kind of double team them on the full court action. You notice everybody's out of the way, and then all of a sudden you go to work if you're Lofton. And sliding backwards was Baldwin that time, actually giving him a little bit more separation for that little pull-up.
And Baldwin just picked up his third personal foul. St. Bonaventure 43, VCU 34.
I love to see those pull-up jump shots. I still think they belong.
Wow, Attaway rejected, out of bounds, and it's Hassan Ward.
Well, he's gotten 3 or more blocks in 12 to 25 games, so he can also block some shots. He's always around the glass.
7'4" wingspan on the 6'9", 210-pound sophomore. Good look. Kyle Lofton is locked in.
Yeah, and that's just a set from the out-of-bounds play where VCU fell asleep. Just a simple inbounds.
Lob it up. Ward couldn't catch it. Break opportunity. Holmes find the man on a wing. Vasquez misses on the 3-ball. Tapped outside to Holmes.
Nice play by Attaway.
And they'll slow it down. No rush for the Bonnies. They lead it 46-34. And just run it through Lofton. High screen, Oshunyi. Lofton step back. He's fouled.
Yeah, that's clearly on his elbow first.
Kyle Lofton stepping forward, the quarterback of this team. And Lofton is leading the way.
Yeah, this is a simple out-of-bounds play. Couple of screens, well designed, well executed, and take you 3.
CBS Sports coverage of the Atlantic 10 Championship is sponsored by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Army National Guard, the next greatest generation is now. And by Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer. Enjoy responsibly. As we were heading to break, the officials stepped in, trying to limit a potential confrontation. This was after the foul called when Lofton got up and started making his way towards the huddle. There was a push there, and a technical was assessed. Then Lofton reacted. We're going to bring in Gene Steratore. Gene, you've been in these moments. You understand it, and you noticed something in the first half that may have trickled over here to the second half.
Yes, Ian, it's a very experienced crew with Roger Ayers leading it, and there was an ISO we showed in the first half of him talking to both coaches after a blocked shot and a timeout when the players were talking to each other. That's a veteran crew letting the head coaches know, look, this is a big game, but anything that goes beyond unsporting now, we've got to assess technical fouls. The game is too big to let that emotion now continue on. Now, that's what occurred, and usually in these breaks on timeouts, when both teams are crossing each other on the court to get to the respective benches, that's always a very critical time if emotions are on edge. Right now, what I think they'd be doing is looking to see that contact that occurred could be a dead ball contact technical foul, and then you may have some unsporting behavior too. We see Brett Hampton pointing at one player, and then another comes, and Brett puts his whistle in his mouth, but it doesn't seem like he pulled the trigger, and then he took another step and appears to have called the second tee. So visually right now what I see are 2 technical fouls assessed to St. Bonaventure, but now they're reviewing to see that other things could be assessed or in their discussion. So we'll kind of have to wait to see what that outcome will be.
Yeah, Gene, I agree with you. And the other part of that, too, is I thought Roger Ayers kind of held back because he was following Lofton, who was going at him and going at everybody. You see Lofton on the left side there was running his mouth. There he goes again with it. And that's when Roger Ayers came in, and I thought he was going to tee him up also. And I think worth pointing out also, Gene, whatever they figure out on this is the shooter shot the ball and was fouled. So they're going to get at least 3 shots out of this particular play because the three-point shooter was fouled.
Yeah, that was
exactly,
Lofton.
Jim.
Yep.
Lofton was shooting. He went down. He was going back to the bench area. The foul was called on Baldwin, his 4th on the extension, got him on the arm.
Yeah, see, that's the easy part of this whole thing, figuring that one out.
Well, the questions now,
You're
Gene,
exactly
are going to be,
right.
Yeah, who's picking up the technical specifically? Lofton had something to say. Then there was a small confrontation as the two teams crossed, and then Lofton reacted after the whistle was blown.
Yeah, and sometimes, not to pin this on the big guys, but when the big guys start blocking shots, they get everybody riled up, I think, because it's kind of embarrasses you sometimes when you get your shot picked by a big guy. But Mark Schmidt's there. The other question becomes, it's a timeout situation, but how do they judge whether guys are leaving the bench or not?
You know, that's probably what they're doing right now, guys, when they're looking at the replay, is what players came off of the bench. Now, it's a little unique in the sense that a timeout was called during this, so players on the court could be out there gathering because of the timeout. Roger's going to kind of summarize this and let the coaches know where they're moving from this point on.
Yeah, you guys just nailed it. You know, that was a bench player coming out to congratulate his teammate, and there was a small crossover at that point.
And remember, you see, there's the initial body bump, too. Welch gets in there with Highland, and they bump into one another. Not to say that that was a cause and effect, but I think that kind of started things. And Highland, to give him his due, he knew enough to get away from that particular play, Ian, because he's got the 3 fouls, and he doesn't need any part of it.
Yeah, so the technical on Dominic Welch, and that was from the video that you just saw when he hopped out and stepped right in front of Bones Highland. But then a dead ball technical called on Hassan Ward for the reaction following whatever confrontation that was. It seemed that Bones Highland was completely surprised by it, and I'm not sure that Welch even came out with the intent at that point to get in the face of Highland. He was trying to make a beeline towards his teammate. 46-34, St. Bonaventure in front. So Dominic Welch comes storming out, and he just happened to jump in front of Bones Highland. I think he was trying to make his way towards his teammate, but obviously we never quite know intent. And then Ward tossed the ball, and that's why he ended up getting the technical.
It's going to be 7 total technical foul shot right now. Oh, excuse me, that technical's total of 7 foul shots, including the 3 from the initial play.
So Highland takes care of business on one end, cutting it to 10. Ward is on the VCU bench. Welch is on the St. Bonaventure bench, and now Kyle Lofton, who's an 80% shooter, is at the line.
I think they got Ward for throwing the ball.
So we hit a bit of a standstill after that foul was called on Adrian Baldwin Jr. The officials came together. It was a long discussion to make sure they were all on the same page. Then they went to the monitor. Then they ushered over the 2 head coaches to explain it. And all of these free throws has been the byproduct. Lofton, by the way, is up to 19 points.
Yeah, and what's the net on this in terms of the differential? Well, he looks like he could stand there all day. Feels like he's standing there all day.
Yeah, and it just feels very machine-like right now. He's at practice, and he's making his free throws.
Put a blindfold on him. He's not barely touching the rim.
So the technical that was called on Welch for stepping forward, and then the reaction of Ward right there, tossing the ball and exacerbating the situation potentially.
That could have ignited it a little bit further. They knew where that ball came from initially.
And St. Bonaventure holds on to it, so they lead by 15 and can add to it here with Lofton, who's got 21 points.
Yeah, and this is exactly where the Bonnies want to force the action and get something and make sure they score here to rub it in.
Oshunayi, nylon.
Yep. If you want to come away with a good one there, if you're looking to throw a haymaker, that's a pretty good way to do it. Now let's see what VCU and how they react.
It's a 7-0 run, 5 free throws, and a jump shot.
They need offense. That'll help. A 3-ball for Vince Williams Jr.
And that's a guy who can shoot the 3-ball for them too, Ian. But VCU known for their havoc. I haven't seen a whole lot of it so far. You know, when you think of the Bonnies with only 5 turnovers, maybe here's one though.
The steal. Watkins takes it in. Missed it, no call.
Might have gotten bumped though on the move.
And the rebound controlled by Jaron Holmes.
Just a little bit of a bump there, went undetected.
Banks is in there. He's matched up with Holmes. Lofton using the screen from Oshunyi. Look for the open man. Vasquez ball fake. Inside, Oshunyi is fouled.
And Mark Schmidt's squad is taking it and putting the pressure on that defense. They are really going after it. When they have an opportunity, see now all of a sudden the ball's middle of the floor, you take your little jump shot. When they swing it to the left side, they have good numbers. That might have been a bump though. Had the big guy moving a little bit, and sometimes when you get the tall guys moving, you have an advantage to be able to drive it into them right there.
65% shooter, Oshunyi. He now has a double-double with 10 points, 10 rebounds, couple of blocks. Stockard sits, replaced by Corey Douglas Jr. So Lofton got the 3 free throws because he was fouled in three-point territory. The 2 free throws after the technical. Highland got the 2 free throws after the technical. And you look up, this is a 16-point game.
Yeah. Now you have a big climb if you're VCU. Wham!
Oh, Shooty!
Oh, my.
Denial on Jameer Watkins.
Boy, that was just a wind-up smack just then.
He got full palm. Woo. That's number 3 for Oshunyi. Lofton leaves it. 2-man game. Lofton loses it off his leg, out of bounds.
Shot blockers need some help. You see the help, there's congestion, and then all of a sudden, forget about it. Puts a fly swatter on that.
Highland looking for an opening.
Just can't get anything on track. This defense has really been strong all afternoon long.
Watkins missed it. Back tap. Over to Attaway. And a foul given by Williams as Attaway was looking ahead towards the rim. Oshunyi. The block tracker is now at 3. He had 7 in the semifinals against St. Louis.
And, you know, part of this whole thing is Holmes comes down the middle of the floor, and you know you have a shot blocker there, and obviously he does his job protecting the rim. But how often have we seen guards funnel people to the middle of the floor and then try to strip the ball and foul before the shot blocker can block the shot? So they're staying away pretty nicely.
Missing on the front end of the 1-and-1. Bones leans in for 2.
Boy, that's why he scored 19 points a game, because that was not an easy shot. They're going to look for a double team action here at half court. Here it comes. With the poise of having Lofton in the guard play. Having 4 guards out and 1 big guy in the middle of the floor really helps you with the spacing and execution.
Yeah, you never sense any panic from Kyle Lofton.
No, it's like just real comfort.
And then that sets the tone for the rest of the team. Holmes drives in, creative shot, missed it. Oshunyi underneath.
Yep, part of Holmes' job there was just to get something off. Don't let it get smacked to the ground. This little grab out front.
And Highland is fouled by Lofton.
So when you're going to the basket here and you're closed in, you see how his eyes light up just to find the rim? You don't want that to be a turnover, a block shot going the other way. Just get it to the rim and hope your center follows the play as he just did.
Foul is called on Lofton. That's his 3rd. And Bones Highland is doing all of his damage at the free throw line, where he's 8 of 9. From the field, 1 of 6. (57-43).
Here's the full court, but when you have guards, what you want to do is just stay away. Nice pass there just to separate. Here they come with some numbers. Good decision.
And they've got a few good ball handlers, Jaron Holmes, Dominic Welch. Attaway is really more of a guard than a power forward.
Well, that's part of the design. I am having the four, quote-unquote, smaller guys on the floor, of which they play most of the minutes anyway.
Crossover, Lofton, nice. Left hand, and yeah, it was a nice block by Corey Douglas getting in there. Attaway can't finish it, and rebounded by Vince Williams Jr. VCU just trying to make a move. Williams accelerates and draws the contact foul. Oshunyi raising his arms.
That's a man's drive right there, though. No fooling around.
And that's 4 fouls on Oshunyi. We get a timeout here in the second half. It is the first time since 2013 that the top 2 seeds are going head-to-head in the Atlantic 10 championship game with VCU, the 2 seed, St. Bonaventure, the 1 seed. Our game summary. Well, this is not a surprise. Defense we knew would be at the top of the priority list, and neither team is shooting it above 40%. But St. Bonaventure has made threes. Neither team has turned it over all that much. And we know there are shot blockers galore on the floor. One of them is currently on the bench in Oshunyi.
Yeah, and you know, the interesting part to me is you look at the foul trouble right there. But if you asked Mark Schmidt before this game, which we did not in terms of how many turnovers at this point in the game, if they only had 7, I think he would basically thank you very much and take that number. Now the question becomes what happens, because you have to anticipate from a strategy standpoint. VCU has no choice but to let it rip defensively right now.
And Vince Williams Jr., an 81% shooter, just missed on a pair. So a wasted opportunity.
Get them to play fast now if they can. Rattle them a little bit.
They're trying. Lofton just got it ahead for Vasquez. The teardrop doesn't go for Jaron Holmes. It was halfway down.
And there's a foul in the backcourt by Attaway. But that's kind of what they want you to do, Ian. They want you to shoot the ball a little faster than maybe you want to, even though it's a good shot when he gets down there. But what does it do? It gets the offensive guys going, okay, let's score, we beat them. What you want to do, you want to attack when you have numbers, but you also want to attack and score.
First foul on Jalen Attaway. Vince Williams gets another opportunity here. He's been a Swiss Army knife for this Ram squad. 10.6 points, 5 rebounds, just over a steal per game.
And a made free throw allows this. It allows the full court action.
Attaway to Holmes. And you see 2 defenders range over quickly and then close in.
Yeah, so Havoc is just not in the backcourt. I think that's misleading. It can be Havoc, and it is Havoc up here in the front court.
Jalen Shaw is in, so Mark Schmidt has gone a little deeper because of the foul trouble with Oshunyi. Shaw is a junior.
And 5 seconds to go here.
Deep one. Holmes off the rim, rebound. Vasquez trying to save, and it's out of bounds.
It's a pretty good defensive stop just then. And there's no getting around it. If you're VCU, you have to be more productive at the offensive end of the floor. I know that's Highland usually, but maybe somebody going to the basket.
Jaron Holmes is now 2 of 15 from the field.
Yeah, watch Highland going to the basket and looking for somebody to slip.
Highland lost it, maintains the dribble with 12 to shoot. Highland forcing his way in.
A lot of one-on-one action there, but he's pretty good at drawing fouls.
And a foul is called on Jaron Holmes. Tonight, 7 Eastern, CBS Sports Network. Stick with our team of experts. They continue to navigate the road to the Final Four. NCAA March Madness Bracket Breakdown is presented by Geico. 10th team foul, so 2 free throws here for Bones Highland. And he's not missing, 10 of 11. So Welch back in. He replaces Alejandro Vasquez.
And when we had a chance to speak to both coaches yesterday via Zoom, both of them really through this really difficult year that we've all experienced. And I agree, the competition level of these teams, not only right here in front of us, but throughout the season has been remarkable.
Splitting defenders, Holmes races it across. I think the pride really kicked in.
Yeah, you would come out and you just play.
Even if you don't have screaming fans in attendance.
Kids want to play, and they're showing that today. I mean, there could be 25,000 in here. They wouldn't be playing any harder.
Lofton, short rebound. Shaw takes it back up, and it rolls down for Jalen Shaw. Junior college transfer. He averages 1.4 points per game. He just helped his season average. Baldwin back in, threads the needle, ball fake. Williams goes down, was looking for a call, knocked out of bounds. Last touch by St. Bonaventure with 6:01 on the clock in a 12-point game.
Got a shot that they wanted. Mark Schmidt knew that from the corner. They like to fly to those corners for the threes. A lot of college teams do that.
VCU, 3 of 12 from three-point range. That's going to change it. Bones Highland from deep.
And what it does, too, it changes the way, number one, you approach the defense. You can start picking it up. But now guys on the floor say, hey, is Bones starting to warm this thing up with 5 and change to go? Let's see what happens.
16 for the Atlantic 10 Player of the Year. All of them in the second half. St. Bonaventure's lead is down to 9. 5.5 to play.
Nice hand.
Near steal.
Very close.
Banks had a chance. Holmes, kick. Deep shot, Welch. Rimming, no. Rebounded by Vince Williams, Jr.
Bonnies look a little rattled at the offensive end. Nice drive with the lefty.
Williams, it's going to count.
Yep, off the glass.
Too late, Jalen Shaw. So put 2 on the board. This is a 7-point game with 5:16 to go.
Yeah, when does your big guy? There he is. The big guy has to come back in. Strong lefty drive. Ball hits the glass. Above the rim. Good call from the officials. And all of a sudden he tucks behind a screen. Has pretty good, well defended just there and lets that go. Not the confidence in the Bonnies handling the ball in the last 2 minutes. Let's see what happens.
Attaway, contact, play on, tiptoe. Oh, Shoonaye, the long arm of the law.
Yeah, and a pretty good substitution by his coach on the timing side to get him back on the floor for an offensive set.
14 points, 12 rebounds, 61-52 St. Bonaventure.
Yeah, the VCU body language is a whole lot better. It'll be even better if he hits this shot.
Bones. Can't get the 3 to drop. Rebound, knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Douglas with 4:39 on the clock.
Yeah, the timing of this substitution. Nice wall up there by Douglas, and that allows the tip in. He had a couple of minutes on the bench, and he's made up for it. Nice left-hand action, too.
Trying to get that lead back to double figures. Lofton deals with the pressure. Welch attack mode. Upstairs, too high initially. Oshunyi trying to recover at a tie-up possession arrow to VCU. It looked like the timing was going to be perfect, Jimmy.
Mark Schmidt is over there. I'm watching him say, oh, guys, I know what you're trying to do. But maybe, once again, look at this. The eyes are on the ball. Yeah, it's maybe just a little too high. And to his right side, our left looking at that.
Ball movement.
Yep, get it to the hoop.
All the way in for Josh Banks, athletic freshman, puts it down.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they need to do. They need to challenge people at the rim.
Oshunyi gives it up. Attaway will clear for Lofton. Everybody can take a collective breath here. They handled that initial wave.
Not over yet, though, this wave. They're going to keep coming at them. They're all taking their breath right now, too, with 7 on the shot clock.
Lofton, swing it. Attaway, the drive. Pirouettes. Off the rim. Tipped home. Dom Welch crashing the boards for the Bonnies. And a foul called out front on Holmes.
And watch the action. From the left side comes the shot, and nobody blocks out Welch. And that's just a breakdown in communication defensively.
Time right now for the Capital One rewarding performance.
You know, Kyle Lofton just runs the show, both offensively setting his guys up, but the confidence of defensively helping people out, shooting the basketball. Just a real good effort. 6 of 14 from the floor overall. But I think the number one thing that they have going into their favor is he's only turned it over 2 times with his 5 assists.
Jim, he has started every game of his St. Bonaventure career
Star comparison with the player of the year in the A-10, Bones Highland, the defensive player of the year in the A-10, Oshunyi.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing for Highland there is all those points were scored in the second half because he picked up 3 relatively fast ones in the first half and had to sit a long period of time.
St. Bonaventure 63, VCU 54. We've got 3:43 remaining in this second half. St. Bonaventure has won 5 of its last 6 games. Would love another W. Cut down the nets, head to Indianapolis as a conference champion, not just in the regular season, but in the conference tournament. VCU has other designs here. They were a fixture in this Atlantic 10 title game for 5 straight years, from 2013 to 2017.
Yeah, this is a good free throw shooting team, too, at 76%. One of the things to look for right now, too, is obviously they're going to come after him defensively, but when VCU is on the offensive end, I would be sure to drive the ball, try to get one of the 2 players with 4 fouls out of this game to then force the Bonnies to play the last 3 minutes with somebody coming off the bench.
Lofton darts and gives it up. 3.5 to play. Lofton watched by Banks. Lofton lost it, going behind the back, lunges, and a timeout call.
Good smarts, good defense, too.
It happened right in front of the St. Bonaventure bench. They helped Lofton off the floor. We'll come back. More second half action from Dayton after this. Paramount Plus is here. Live sports, breaking news, and a mountain of entertainment. Paramount Plus. Try it. Free. 9 seconds to work with on the shot clock here for St. Bonaventure. 3:21 on the game clock. 8-point disparity. Attaway loses it. Out of bounds. Last touch by VCU with 5 seconds to shoot.
Yeah, it takes that 4 seconds off the clock. Now they have to have not a quick hitter, but you want to make sure a guard ends up with this ball. Do they run that same play and get Lofton the ball on the right wing? Oh, backdoor cut.
Welch, pump fake, layup goes.
Great look. And a better cut.
Yeah, Lofton has tremendous feel.
Oh, he sure does.
10 points for Dom Welch, the junior from Buffalo. Williams, kick. Open look. Baldwin, bottom, a 3.
Every time it goes through, gives them a chance in terms of the defense, more importantly. Now you see the clear out. It makes it much more difficult when guys go this way to double team. They have to come from a much further space on the floor.
Once again, Lofton handles it. St. Bonaventure settling in here. Banks defending Holmes. 10 to shoot. Holmes makes his move. Attaway. Kick. 2-man game with Holmes. Shot clock winding down. Holmes probing. Gets the roll.
Not only are they scoring, but they're taking time, precious time off the clock on each offensive possession.
We are down to 2:16 and counting. Back to a 9-point lead for St. Bonaventure. Deflected by Oshunyi. Out of bounds.
So watch the quick hitter here. There's the backdoor cut. A nice ball fake, too, just then by Baldwin to finish that, by Welch to finish that one off. Oh, another slip. Look at this.
They lost Banks off the inbound. An easy deuce to cut it to 7. And a timeout called by VCU with 2:10 to play. St. Bonaventure keeping the Rams at arm's length.
Boy, this is wide open.
They were not within arm's length defensively.
No, not at all.
Big Ten Championship is coming up here on CBS. It's Ohio State and Illinois. The Buckeyes knocking off the 1 seed Michigan, and Illinois defeating Iowa in the semifinals. Jim Nantz, Bill Raftery, Grant Hill, Tracy Wolfson, the rest of our CBS crew ready for action from Indy.
That's a pretty impressive bracket right there, isn't it? Even with the losers.
Could have been a Final Four bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking the same thing.
So once again, St. Bonaventure gets it across.
Yep, this is the possession at both sides.
Attaway
12 to shoot.
Ooh, got a blocking call on the right side away from the ball.
And it is Williams who gets charged. That's his third. And the 19th foul, so 1-1 here for Jaron Holmes.
Yeah, 60% shooter, Ian, so see if he can step up and give the Bonnies a little more breathing room.
Junior college transfer, Ranger Community College in Texas. His head coach was Billy Gillespie, the former head coach at Kentucky. Kansas, 8-point lead for St. Bonaventure. Banks back in. Corey Douglas Jr. will sit as VCU goes offense-defense.
Yeah, Ward at 6'9", the only guy, tall guy on the floor, really. The other four can go after it, whether it's shooting it from long range or attacking the rim.
Back up to a 9-point lead, under 2 minutes to play.
You know the Bonnies are going to go slow at the offensive end. This is where you have to go fast and then turn it over.
Baldwin coughs it up. Lofton in no rush.
No, this is where you just play clock right now. It's okay to sit on one right here. But these guys are pretty good working the clock down. They've been doing it all afternoon. And you see Mark Schmidt in the background putting his hand up to wait a little bit. Going about 7 seconds or so, maybe even 5.
Lofton wrestles it away. St. Bonaventure trying to finish it off right here. Welch. Three! Bullseye for the Bonnies!
You can't time it any better than that with your set play.
And the lead is 12. Bones, high archer goes down. With 1 minute to play, St. Bonaventure up by 10.
Yeah.
Fortunate, he nearly lost it. Holmes picks up his dribble and races across.
Yeah, I'd start fouling right now. They should have fouled about 10 seconds ago, actually. If you're going to play the fouling game, Mike Rhodes was up there looking at his team. But it's all about the timing and a pretty good shot. Little fall away there. Welsh making it happen. He only shoots it at 41% on the season from 3. Boy, that's a big timer. Yes.
What did Marv Albert get here? That was impressive, Jimmy.
I didn't mean that, but it did sound that way.
Yeah, you went guttural. You went, yes.
Oh, yes.
73-62, St. Bonaventure. 48.8 to play. And Lofton tacks on another 23 points, 6 assists, 2 turnovers, and the final 40 seconds. Baldwin misses on a 3-ball, rebound knocked over to Welch. There's a 5-second difference, shot clock to game clock. The celebration is starting along that St. Bonaventure bench, and the fans in attendance here at UD Arena.
It's a little early dance, isn't it?
A conference tournament dance, but who knows what this team could do.
A lot of fun watching that bench. Not so much at the other end, though.
And Lofton will absorb the shot clock violation. Roll it up. Bones Highland a 3. He's got it with 2.3 on the clock. Oshunyi goes long, and that's it. St. Bonaventure wins the Atlantic 10 tournament. It's a body party. 74-65. The regular season champions are also the tournament champions. What a moment for Mark Schmidt and his squad. VCU had a terrific season, but St. Bonaventure, the kings of the Atlantic 10.
And I'll just tip my hat to them from the standpoint of Mark Schmidt's team really knows how to defend, and they did a terrific job. They generally hold teams to 60 points, and here in a championship game, 65 came. So VCU had to work for every single shot, and I still go back to the fact that the Bonnies only had 9 turnovers when they had 15 in each of the first 2 matchups against VCU. Remarkable the way they handled this pressure.
23 points for Lofton, 14 for Oshuniyi. Yeah, the dance has started. St. Bonaventure will head to Indianapolis as the champions with the automatic bid out of the A10. Meanwhile, for VCU, they will have to sit and wait to see where they fit in to the NCAA tournament. Kyle Lofton and the Bonnies celebrating a title. So the plans for these two teams, Mark Schmidt told us they're going to stay in Dayton, watch the selection show, then bus over to Indianapolis. Mike Rhodes telling us we're going to get on a bus and just head to Indianapolis right now and settle into the hotel, watch the selection show there.
What a difficult year for all of these college players, but to be able to pull it all together and get this, they'll remember this for the rest of their life.
Well, this whole year
will be remembered.
Stuck in your memory bank, but for them to celebrate it with a championship at the end, St. Bonaventure gets it done. The Big Ten championship is coming up. Ohio State and Illinois. For Jim Sparkle, Gene Steratore, entire CBS crew, Ian Eagle saying so long from Dayton. We'll get you back to our New York studio. Inside College Basketball presented by Progressive Insurance is coming up right after these messages.
St. Bonaventure has punched its ticket to dance. The Bonnies, the A10 champions, defeating VCU 74-65. Now only 2 automatic bids remain as we welcome you inside college basketball, presented by Progressive Insurance. Greg Gumbel along with Clark and Seth. St. Bonnie's 74-65, you can say almost workmanlike.
Very much so. Great way to describe it, Greg. That's what it was. Methodical, workmanlike, excellent defense, balanced scoring, and a brilliant performance from Kyle Lofton. He's the guy that makes it go. They got 5 guys that average double digits, but Kyle Lofton has great poise and character and skill. There he comes up with the pilfer, and that leads to production. This is where he really hurt the VCU round today. He made 4 or 5 threes. He's not known as a three-point shooter, but what he is a winner. He takes and makes big shots. He makes big plays at both ends, and it was his day today for the Bonnies. Look at these numbers. Only 2 turnovers to go with those 6 assists. Again, I highlighted the 4 or 5 three-point shooting, but this guy is a terrific lead guard because he can give you what you need, playmaking and scoring.
And you know I love that 7 for 7 from the foul line. That's how you're gonna play, get some minutes with me. But St. Bonaventure, their personality, Mark Schmidt, is really built on their defense. They manage the pace. They're 20th in the country in defensive efficiency, 4th in the country in points allowed, 8th in field goal defense. And Bones Highland really felt the force of their defense. Now, he was scoreless at halftime with that foul trouble, so he did end up getting 21 in the second half, but he needed 11 shots to do it. Did a better job getting to the foul line, but he just could never get going. They were 6 for 18 on the day from three-point range, and St. Bonaventure really beat him up on the offensive glass. 13 boards to VCU's 5. So you've got a good leader guard who can score, get to the foul line, a great defense, and then you start taking care of the ball like they did today. That's a team that could stick around for a while. Well done.
Yeah, I want to remind everyone still to come, one more conference champion to crown here on CBS. 2 of the very best teams in the country to get you set. It's Ohio State taking on Illinois in the Big Ten championships. An interesting thing as we approach these games, all of the analysis and examination of the teams that you guys say, doesn't always work out that way.
No, it doesn't. That's why we play the games, because you don't know exactly how it's going to play out. You take a look at what you've seen, and then you make some guesses, and you have some expectations. But ultimately, it comes down, especially in championship games, it really does come down most of the time to your stars needing to play well. Your best players have to play well. And then how many mistakes do you make or not make compared to your opponents? And those things are critical when you're talking about trying to win a championship. And they had 2 meetings. Here you look at the numbers, and pretty even. The Buckeyes won on the road. Got a big game from E.J. Liddell, and then played them tight in the second matchup, Seth, and kind of frittered it away in the last 2 minutes, 2.5, 3 minutes.
And I would say, I think he made this point yesterday, over the last 3 weeks, nobody in America has played better than Illinois. And they went through that period where Ayo Dosunmu got hurt. Other guys had to step up and get better, and then Ayo comes back with his superhero mask. And now this team has a real personality. And that, to me, is what separates these two from a lot of teams that we watch, is their competitive spirit, their fight, their chemistry, their connectedness. You know, Ohio State, I think, has maximized its potential as well as any team in the country. So this is a game between two really fighting, scrappy teams. I like the Illini based on how they've been playing, but I've been underestimating Ohio State pretty much all season long, so I'm expecting a good game.
It's funny to have looked at those numbers. There's not much to choose from between the two teams on paper, but we'll find out what happens on the court. When we come back, we'll get you caught up on all of today's conference championship action, including an unbelievable ending between LSU and Alabama. Congrats to St. Bonnie.